Welcome back. We are not going to be fighting tonight. We're not going to be talking about, I won't even say the title of the movie. It's in the title of the podcast. We're not even going to bring it up. What is said has been said.
Jumanji?
3 podcasts is enough. Yes, Jumanji. We will be talking about Jumanji.
Oh, I thought it was Pitch Perfect. Oh, we're not talking about Pitch Perfect 3. That's what it was.
Our friend Harry saw Pitch Perfect. My wife wanted to see that, but thankfully, The Rock won out. We had she got a rock on. Welcome back, everybody. It's a surprise Nerdrotic podcast. We are on the Nerdrotic channel. My name is Gary Beekler. I am live in San Francisco, California. And down in San Diego is my good friend, Dennis Bathalkas. What is up, Dennis?
Nothing much, man. It's Christmas Eve day, and you're getting ready to go to a party. I'm getting ready to, I don't know, just watch some, bad Christmas movies, more than likely.
That sounds awesome. That was my preference today. But where we're going is pretty cool. We're going to make some tamales up in Marin. So,
nice.
I'm sure there'll be some kind of vegan, whatever. I don't know.
Those are tamales then.
No, they're going to be real meat-filled tamales. Okay. It'll be freaking great. It'll be great. We're going to talk about good stuff we liked. We're also going to mop up some stuff we haven't talked about over the year that we started, like Stranger Things and Bright. Dennis saw Bright. We're going to talk about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like I said, we're going to talk about Jumanji. We're going to talk about what we're looking forward to for the next year, because there's some amazing stuff coming out. We're going to talk about good stuff. It's about positivity on this podcast, because we usually celebrate stuff. We're mostly a positive podcast. We will be honest with our opinions at times, but we like 90% of what we review. So there it is there. God, I always need to cough when this thing starts, and I just had a big old cup of Pete's coffee, not sponsored at all, but if you're in the Bay Area, it is the most caffeinated stuff there is. That's why I talk so much during this podcast. I'm going to pull up, we'll hopefully get some chatters in here. If not, that's cool. But if you are joining us, you want to chat away, we will respond to you. And hey, I didn't hear myself that time, so that's awesome. Nice. So Dennis, let's start out with Bright. What did you? Yeah. I only saw half of it, so you saw the whole thing. What did you think?
I thought it was a decent Netflix movie. It wasn't bad. It was directed by David Ayer, who wrote the script to Training Day, and it was Training Day light with orcs and magic. So it was actually written by Max Landis, of all people. It was kind of weird, and directed by David Ayer. So it was a Training Day movie written by Max Landis, but directed by the guy who wrote Training Day. Kind of a weird thing, and starring Will Smith. So yeah, it wasn't bad. It was there was actually a couple of really good shootouts that happened that, it looked almost like the camera was following, but of course it wasn't. There was cuts in there involved that didn't end right away. So it was actually some good action stuff in there and a decent plot.
Yeah, I heard it had been getting so I saw half of it, and I kind of liked what I saw. It wasn't blowing me away, but it looked really expensive, and it gives me great hope for movies because I just think the studios have gotten so monolithic that it's almost impossible to get a good one once the Marvel Cinematic Universe runs its course. They're going to have to do something, because that's been carrying the load, that and the other movie, which we are not going to name. And it looked expensive. It looked like something that no studio would touch, or if they did, it would be in development, out of development. The stars would change, the directors would change, and Netflix just ponied up the money. It cost $3 million to option Max Landis's script. That is a lot of money. Now, Max Landis, I like Max Landis for the most part. I'm not cut up on Dirk Gently. I kind of like the first season, even though it's not the character nor the book that I read and loved. It was still entertaining. Okay. It was still really pretty good. And I know a lot of people might like him for his or dislike him for his Mary Sue video about the movie we're not going to name, which I actually enjoyed. But
See, I don't like
I don't know.
him.
I think it gives us hope. I don't know.
I don't like him specifically because he's remaking American Werewolf in London, his father's movie, and he just finished a draft of it recently, and I'm like, dude, just let it lie.
Is he remaking it, or is it a sequel?
He's remaking it.
See, if it was a sequel, I'd think different of it. Remaking it, I don't know. Why don't you just make a new one? You know what I mean? And just like the lore from the first one could still exist. It's been 30 years.
They tried.
Yeah, I don't understand that. Yeah, they did. They did, actually. So, right. So we're remaking it again.
Yeah.
Like for our second time. The first movie, I don't think this is a movie. I don't know if it works now.
No,
You know
it wouldn't
I mean?
work now.
It's such a great movie, by the way.
It was quirky when it came out, and nothing was like it before. So that's the reason why I think it did so well. And if you tried to make it, even if it had never come out, you tried to make it today, I don't think it would have flown. I'll tell you the truth.
My favorite story about American Werewolf in London is they really built it around the song by Warren Zevon.
Oh.
And at the time, he wouldn't let him use it because he was super occult and weird. And at least this is the story. It could be an urban legend. Like he didn't want to because he thought werewolves were real at the time. And now Warren Zevon's a weird dude. I can believe this story. And this is an old story, so I don't know. It could be complete BS. But they wouldn't let him use that song, so they used "Bad Moon Rising" by Creedence instead. But this was when John Landis, who is still like his older work, he's one of my favorite all-time directors. He was never the same after the Twilight Zone movie incident, unfortunately, but he was in that club of John Milius, Steven Spielberg, George Lucas. What made Blues Brothers an awesome movie was really a cinematic comedy. You know what I mean? It wasn't just a paint by numbers comedy. Like the shooting,
it was epic.
It was super epic.
Yeah,
and really well done. And
I believe it still holds the Guinness Book World Record for most car crashes in a movie.
It probably does. Yeah. And John Landis was genius. He really was. Unfortunately, the Twilight Zone movie, which I like, by the way, I still like the Twilight Zone movie. It's not perfect, but George Miller's segment at the end is perfection. That is perfection with John Lithgow. That one is so good. And if you're gonna watch it for anything, watch it for the last story. It's so.
If you ever want to see something that's actually just really funny, the show that John Lithgow was in, Third Rock from the Sun, where he plays the Supreme Leader, they actually had William Shatner be the leader of their entire race.
Yep.
And he shows up, and they're meeting him at the airport, and there's a whole thing. Where he says, "I saw something out in the wing of the plane. You did too?" And they both go out.
I am not ashamed to say I watched almost every episode of that show.
Oh, it's an awesome show.
It's a great show. Yeah. As far as sitcoms go, it was one of my faves.
So we digress.
We digress. Bright is good, you say?
Yes. It's worth of it's Netflix. I mean, you're already paying for the subscription anyway. You've already paid for it. Watch it. It's fun.
Yeah, I'll finish it up probably tonight, this weekend, sometime.
Joel Egerton as his partner, Nick, was actually really, really, really well done. He does this. I don't know. Orcs are supposed to be a little slow on the uptake, I guess you could say. And there's definitely times in there where he says like inappropriate humor while they're like getting shot at and things like that. And it's kind of funny, actually.
Yeah, I did like that whole scene where they're talking about human facial expressions. And that was I definitely saw what they were trying to do there. It's interesting. It's really a wacky idea. And I love it when they do stuff like that. I do. Do they now? I didn't see the whole movie. So my question is, this was supposed to be, how did they deal with the whole racial thing?
I thought they did a good. You basically have different classes, like the orcs are considered the
or class system. Sorry,
Yeah.
race or class, whatever.
Races, yeah. So the orcs are considered to be the lowest tier because they sided with what was called the Dark Lord. They made the wrong choice during the war that happened 2,000 years ago. The elves use magic, so they are actually at the top of the heap, and the humans are somewhere in the middle. And so the elves, there's actually an elf section that you're warned of when you're going into, and that's where all the wealth is. And basically, the other ones in all the power. And the reason for that is, and it's kind of hinted at, is that they've used magic to get there.
Okay, so basically, they're using Lord of the Rings structure for classism, and they just modernized it and put it in modern LA, which
Pretty
is,
much. Yeah.
I mean, that is fan fiction to the to the nth degree. But
Yeah.
that's kind of cool. I kind of like, yeah. Now I want to finish it. They greenlit a sequel already.
Yes.
Did I not hear that? Yeah. So
Yeah.
they must be happy with it. I love what Netflix and Amazon are doing. Yes, they're these giant monolithic companies, and eventually they're going to turn into the networks, which will be the same old, which would be too bad. But right now, they're forced to be innovative and do crazy stuff. And this is where we get the most creativity, is through competition, and innovation is breeded through competition, and we don't have one company totally in charge. And I've been against the Disney Fox deal. I still am, but that is an act of desperation, believe it or not. Spending $54 billion to take on Netflix and Amazon, that was a move forced on Disney, because Disney doesn't run everything. Actually, they won't. Their property, they bought a bunch of properties, but they haven't developed anything themselves. Well, they've got their animated movies, but they can only remake a live action animated movie. They're going to run the gambit. When we get the live action Robin Hood, which is
They're redoing again.
Yeah. My favorite Disney animated movie. Actually, that's the first movie I ever saw, was the Robin Hood movie. My parents took me to that when I was 4 or 5. Yeah. I had to be told that. I don't remember any of it, but they said I ran around the house dressed as Robin Hood for a good 6 months. So
Nice.
Yeah. Went back and watched it. It's a good movie. But yeah, because I'm old. That movie came out, what, 74 or 5? Yeah, so that's when I was 4 or 5.
Yeah, I think the first movie I saw in theaters that I was brought to the theater to go and see was Bedknobs and Broomsticks, and that was
Bedknobs and Broomsticks. I like that movie.
Yeah, it was fun.
That was the darker period of Disney. Is some of the stuff I liked. The dark period of Disney was considered from 69 to about 87, probably, because it wasn't Sleepy. It was it Beauty and the Beast that brought him back? It was Beauty and the Beast, and then The Lion King came out, and that's when they, Eisner took over.
Yeah.
Started swinging up, and Disney stock. I remember my dad being so excited to buy Disney stock. But I like The Black Hole and Tron. That's when they were really trying to be weird and doing, live action movies. And they've done them before, but that was their first foray into like serious live action movies. Then Touchstone came out, and they started doing some good stuff with that. So I kind of hope Disney goes back to that, trying to like make stuff new. I love properties, and hopefully they treat Marvel right. Haven't been happy with their treatment of the comics lately, and to me that's the most important part. I don't think they think that, but oh well. But yeah, what Netflix is doing is good. That is a good thing. And they have a lot of money right now to burn if they want it.
And you know what they're doing? They're actually taking some chances too. So that's the other good thing about it. And like you said, I mean, no one else is really doing that at the moment, and they really need to.
Let's get.
You got distracted by some of the chat. That was all.
No, it's okay. Mark, you haven't missed much. We were just talking about Bright. We just started. ST Fanboy, Black Hole, and Tron were my favorites from Disney. Hell yeah. Black Hole is, oh man, it's
underrated.
It's totally underrated. Yeah, it's a wonky movie, but it's like Flash Gordon.
Yeah.
I I don't know. It was just the type. It's so hard to believe that Flash Gordon, when you see the effects, was made in between two Star Wars movies, but it's still so much fun and bizarre, and that's what good sci-fi should be.
Yeah.
So much of it lately, and I mean like the last 30 years, has been dystopian or post-apocalyptic, and I know that's for budgetary reasons, but at least back then, even with Logan's Run, they tried to make sci-fi pretty. They tried to and a little bizarre. That's what Valerian tried to be. I watched Valerian finally,
Okay.
and I did not hate it. I know I can understand why people did it. That whole beginning adventure took way too long, like 40 minutes. I get it. I'm a huge fan of the comic books, and I'm a huge fan of Luc Besson, so I did not despise the movie like some people did. It's really pretty. I watched it in 4K, and that's probably why I liked it so much. And now I would give it like a 6.5, 7 out of 10. I don't know if liking it a lot would be my opinion on it, but I can understand why people there's definitely some major flaws in it. But you can't compare it to The Fifth Element.
No.
It's not going to be one of those movies that's going to be considered great in 20 years. The Fifth Element was what I was just talking about. It was sci-fi that was pretty and bizarre and tried to be different. It was really basic story. Storytelling.
It was his take on Star Wars, really.
Yep.
That's really what it was. I also want to say there's actually a little Easter egg in Bright, which I thought was kind of funny. There's all these little things that are in the background, which was kind of nice that David Ayers did. One of them is they kind of pull back and they do a city shot briefly. And so you see the full moon and you see a dragon flying slowly across the sky. And I was like, that's kind of cool.
See, now I got to go back and watch it. See, yeah, I was at work. I shouldn't have been watching it anyway, but it was a little slow. It's the holidays. Hey, we got some commenters. Yeah, this is a surprise podcast, so we're glad you are here.
And I'm glad some of you over in Europe are staying up late or
oh my God,
up early for Christmas. Yeah,
it's 1:44. So has Santa been to your house already? Or are you good this year? I have some space in my heart for Star Wars bashing deconstructing, but what can I do? Yeah, sorry, we cannot do that. Not for a fourth. Yeah, I wish I could, but we would come across as just haters, and I will invoke the words of the co-host who liked the movie. It's kind of pointless to be arguing over such a mediocre film, and that's somebody who liked it. That was John, and I agree with him. Yeah, Black Hole, loved it as a kid, says Mark. Yeah, it was so good. Merry Christmas, guys. I'm getting overwhelmed by the negative critics that swarm the internet. I dig your more upbeat reviews. What movies and TV shows are you guys most excited about for 2018? That is a great question, Dennis. Dennis, we'll start with you. What are you excited about in 2018?
I'm excited about the return of Ash versus Evil Dead. I thought it was coming, in October, but it's holding off till February, and I'm most excited for that right now. Other than that, for the new stuff, I'm kind of interested to see where the Alienist goes on TNT, tell you the truth. That one has me intrigued.
Yeah, that it definitely looks taboo-ish a little bit, and we are both huge fans of Taboo.
Yep.
So we will be covering that. Yeah, that has me really intrigued as far as something I haven't seen. I cannot wait for the Expanse to come back. I believe it's going to be early February is what the rumor mill is saying.
Yes.
Legion. Cannot wait for Legion. And Ash vs. Evil Dead. Ash vs. Evil Dead is the number one thing I cannot wait for. We've been deprived a little bit, but yes, Merry Christmas, nerds. What's up, Joseph? That's a friend of ours. He's a very talented artist, by the way. Artist of and creator of Space Punks, ladies and gentlemen. Please check it out.
Nice.
Yeah, good guy. Met him at APE, the Alternative Press Expo here in San Francisco. Yeah, really looking. And the Tick. The Tick should be coming back.
The Tick's in February
now. Oh my God! If you guys have not seen the Tick, it is glorious. Is the word I have for it. It's everything the live action show was and the cartoon put together with like a tad bit more heart. Not saying the other two didn't have heart, but this one, like there's a little drama. There's a little tragedy behind the tick, which
Yeah.
was what the comic had, but neither of the shows really dived into those. And he's got amnesia, and at first we think he's part of Arthur's psyche, but it's clear that he's had severe head trauma. So now you know the story is going to be dark. They've done some dark things in that show, which are excellent. So definitely, if you have Amazon Prime member, there are
All I'm going to say
30-minute
is
episodes.
weaponized syphilis. That's all I'm going to say.
Weaponized syphilis. Ben Edlund.
Yeah, if that doesn't get your pique your interest, I don't know what will. And I also want to say also for Amazon Prime, Jean-Claude Van Johnson. I'm looking for the next 6 episodes of that. How many episodes did you get through, Gary, out of the first 6?
I got through 4 episodes and they are wonderful.
Yeah.
Finish it.
The last one, oh my God, the way they left it on the cliffhanger, I can't wait. I honestly can't wait because it was such a what the F moment that I was just like, okay, I need to watch the next 6 now.
I remember you messaging. So the first 15 minutes of the first episode of Jean-Claude Van Johnson, I got to say it slow. It gets me tongue tied for some reason. It epitomizes Hollywood and what Hollywood is right now, and in such a beautiful, genius way. Not to totally spoil, but not to spoil the story, but they're remaking Huck Finn.
Yes.
Huckleberry Finn, but Tom Sawyer's a girl and they're in love, and it's an action movie. And then they have a guy named, what was it, N-word?
N-word, because in the comics,
we know in the book there's
started in the book, excuse me, comics. In the book,
so they call him N-word Jim or something.
Yeah, so they call him as N-word Jim. Which is so wrong.
So wrong and funny in so many ways. But it is really good. And Jean-Claude Van Damme is funny. I didn't know how funny that guy could be. And he's had a lot of plastic surgery, by the way.
Yeah, it's falling apart now. You can tell.
Yeah, but oh my God, it's so you just gotta watch it. I don't want to ruin any of it. It's because if I told you the story, it would take away part of the joke in the beginning of the first episode, which is just great.
Let's just say spy stuff, action movie, time travel, and what else is there? That pretty much covers it right there. I think if that doesn't pique your interest again, like I said, then you're not gonna be interested in it.
A crazy guy says The Tick and Ash vs. Evil Dead return the same weekend. My head might explode.
Yeah,
I might have to miss some work. That's going to be great. We're going to be very busy here on the podcast. Drogas Gabriel Toma. Sorry if I screwed that up. I'm actually reading the second Expanse book right now. The first 5 books are really, really good. The 5th book is my favorite. First 2 are really good. 3rd and 4th are pretty good. I will tell you, it goes a little off the rails, but they're setting up something huge. So the one good thing about these books is they come out every year. They I don't know how they do it. It's 2 guys writing it, and they are both George R.R. Martin proteges, and they follow his story structure, except for taking their time writing. They actually write stuff on time. It's really deep, really good, and I'm still processing the last book, and I'm not going to ruin anything, but they did one of the boldest moves I've ever seen in a science fiction series. And I don't know if it's going to work or not, but it was crazy. It was really crazy. It was, I could not believe they did that. So I love how it flips the script on a lot of stuff.
Jody, Merry Christmas to you as well. And yes, you missed the entire Bright episode or comments that we just did right beforehand. You came in a little bit late. So if you rewind, you'll see what's going on.
Poor Jody.
I know.
Hey,
sorry.
You got in on this one.
Hey, ST fanboy. Hey guys, need to go now and do Christmas stuff. Merry Christmas. See you later. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
and have fun. Have a good Christmas, and we will see you later on this week.
Yeah, you can always watch it. We're going to be going till 4:30. I got to stop
Yes.
to go make tamales in Marin. So yeah, I'm grateful we got an hour to do this, and Dennis had the time. Dennis, yeah, life has been crazy for you. You're
Yes.
buying a house and stuff. So
I'm buying a condo, yes, and I'm signing the paperwork sometime this week.
congratulations, welcome
Thanks.
to it, man. Well done. The Expanse. This is a crazy guy, you know. The Expanse is awesome. I love the show. I'm only on the second book right now. According to the author's gems, they say Corey say the ninth book will be the final one, so they're wrapping it up. Yes, and the seventh book was all set up for 8 and 9. I've read it twice. So the first reading, I hated it. I couldn't stand it. Read it again and loved it. If that makes any sense at all. I got over my preconceived notions of what should have happened, and I was totally into what they're doing. It's bold. It's really cool. And it's like it's like Game of Thrones. It's taking a genre and just doing something a little different, while keeping in the same structure of a science fiction. But they really built this real feeling world, and it's a huge world that you can do tons of side stories on forever. And you don't have to focus on the Rocinante crew, and Holden. And they have some. I haven't read all of the side books. There's a bunch of side books, but the most important one to read, I heard, is Strange Dogs before you read book 7. So, and I didn't read Strange Dogs, which apparently sets up book 7. So yeah, it's amazing that these guys put out these books every year, and hopefully Sci-Fi isn't dumb and gets rid of the show. But I think Sci-Fi is coming up big time. They're doing everything right lately. After meandering since Battlestar Galactica left, they are now probably my favorite network, because making Happy something good was almost an impossible task. So my hat is off to Grant Morrison. A lot of people have not given him a chance to write television, and they're regretting it right now because he's really good at it. I don't think he needs to write comics anymore, which sucks for us comic fans. So,
Jody, I just want to say thanks for congratulating me on the condo. And he says, do they mean final the same way GRM meant for A Song in Fire or Ice to be a trilogy? Possibly.
Yeah, I think after 9 books and writing them every year, well, we'll have to see after they have a break from it, but I can imagine that's their lives right now. And these guys are now huge stars and writers on their own right. So they're going to probably go out separately and do their own books. And they succeeded in making a sci-fi series that I'm into. And I don't just jump into sci-fi series. A lot of them are just meandering and boring to me, but that's probably because I'm a comic book reader. So my attention span's like this. So, it's on me. Joseph asks, so what did you guys think of Star Wars? Just kidding. Ha 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 ha. You know what we thought of it.
I love the holiday special.
Better than Empire, The Two Towers, and The Godfather Part 2. Those are the only 2 movies better. Those are the only 2 sequels better than Empire, in my opinion. And Dennis would probably disagree with one of those, but there you go.
Yeah, I'm not a big Lord of the Rings fan. I know.
Oh, Brandon Branders, Brandon Branders. An omission. I am ready for Westworld to come back. Hell yeah!
But that's not till 2019.
Yeah, we don't know that for sure. It's late 2018, early 2019. It's very disappointing that we're gonna have to wait. But I went back and rewatched season 1, and I understand why it took so long. It is each episode is a movie. It's like so well done. Also, best soundtrack ever. I am really into soundtracks, and to be able to make a show where you have equal Blade Runner and pick a Western movie, and you can mesh those in as a soundtrack, and it's by the guy who does Game of Thrones, and this is better than anything he's ever done, Game of Thrones. So as a soundtrack nerd, freaking love it.
Oh, is this Bear?
No, Bear's good, but this is I can't pronounce his name. It's Romney something or other. Okay. But just his symphony cover of Paint It Black was excellent. That was
That's
just good
right.
stuff. That
Yeah.
whole scene was magic. It was so good. Yeah, it's man, everything about that show is perfection. Jonathan Nolan is you hate to compare brothers, but he's better than his bro. I really think so. I think that guy is, as a showrunner, it was long rumored that he was supposed to write the third Batman movie, and that he was supposed to direct Man of Steel, and I wish he would have. I really wish he would have directed Man of Steel, because I would have loved to see Jonathan Nolan's version of Man of Steel instead of, Zack Snyder.
Jody said Ramen Djawadi.
Okay, yeah, Ramin. It's probably Ramin, and I'm not going to try. I'll have to listen to it. But thank you, Jody. Yeah, he also did Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
Did Iron Man? That is right. Now he is great. He is great.
Joseph asked, "What's our favorite soundtrack?" For me, cinematic-wise, it's the very first Superman movie. The Donner movie is my favorite soundtrack for just symphonic. For soundtracks, I really love recently, to tell you the truth, Luke Cage.
That's a good one. Blade Runner by Vangelis, with Superman being a close second. And as far as music, it's a tie between, and you're going to laugh, the Spawn soundtrack and the Crow soundtrack. The Spawn soundtrack is so good. It is so good. It's all these techno guys mixed with metal bands. And yeah, it's amazing. So big fan of it. Big fan. Akira soundtrack, good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, the only time I've ever been written up at a job was at the warehouse, and I had no idea what Akira was. And this was in '94, and I ran the video department. And yes, I ran a video department, had no idea what Akira was. So I'm like, ooh, cartoon. Let's put that on. And I put on Akira in the middle of the day at a warehouse records. Yeah, I got called into the office.
And with good reason.
With good reason, because I showed the whole damn movie. Crow soundtrack is the Violence Femme song is so good. Yeah. But I love Henry Rollins doing Ghost Rider, a song about another comic book character during a comic book movie, which is good stuff. Oh man.
So since we've got about half an hour here, Stranger Things 2.
Stranger Things 2.
Should we clean up?
This is that we're mopping up a little bit. We did the first episode. We never finished up. We'll be brief on this. We'll start with you. What did you think?
I liked it, but not as much as the first season. The first season was really, really good. And the second season, I liked the first half better than I liked the second half, to tell you the truth. It's kind of weird. So
I agree with you. It was too much of a repeat of the first season. Even though they were trying to do Empire. Remember when we reviewed the first episode and we're like, man, they hit every 80s movies beat except for Empire Strikes Back. And that was like, and that's what the whole damn series was. It was spreading out your heroes and bringing them back. The Hopper 11 story was great. I love that. That was great. The seventh episode that everybody hates, I disliked it because I don't know. My wife and I disagreed on this completely because we're both aging punk rockers, or used to be. That was our scene in high school. Okay. Yeah. And I just thought they got that so freaking wrong. But my wife pointed out that they were doing cinematic punk rockers. They weren't trying to be real. Yeah. They were trying to be what actually was. It was how they were portrayed in the 80s movies. And if you look at it that way, they used pretty much the punk rockers from Return of the Living Dead. And that's accurate. It's really accurate.
Or Terminator. Same.
And Terminator. Yeah, I would say a little of both. It was the number 8 storyline was a little jarring for me. And I wish we would have gotten a little more on the other numbers, and I know we're going to get that in the future probably. My thinking is, and I liked it, and they got the Chicago skyline all wrong, and Joseph would know, man, that he is. Yeah, they must have filmed it in like a different city or something, and it was supposed to be in the 80s, right? So
Yeah.
was it a little too modern? I didn't notice, but I'm sure it was probably just a little too modern. Yeah, they do that all the time, like in like in Ron Burgundy, like it matters. Like the San Diego skyline is so wrong because there was no buildings in the 80s in San Diego. There was zero. So I imagine Chicago was the same thing. Yeah, I liked it. I really enjoyed it. I thought they played it safe. And I think like after, you know, be cool is that they pull an It. Like they do one more season of them young and then like do a time jump to modern times. That'd be rad. I think
That'd be interesting.
that would be interesting. So,
and also, you know, one of my favorite scenes in a comedy movie,
Adventures in Babysitting.
Kentucky Fried Movie, when they're doing the Enter the Dragon rip, and they show Hong Kong, and it's actually a picture of New York City. This is Hong Kong underneath.
Kentucky Fried Movie. Oh my god.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite movies.
Goodfellas soundtrack. I gotta, you know what? That's pretty. Yeah, there's so many good soundtracks. Goodfellas is a great movie.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cyborg Man. Lord of the Rings trilogy for me, but more soundtrack with songs. Yeah, the Lord of the Rings trilogy is my favorite, like trilogy of. It's my favorite movies. It's my favorite book. It's my favorite everything. So right there with you, Jody.
Also, for music, the Desperado soundtrack, Robert Rodriguez, the Desperado. Good soundtrack, actually a really good soundtrack, and also Antonio Banderas singing, believe it or not, in Spanish.
I love the Sin City soundtrack. Anything Robert Rodriguez, even Grindhouse. I liked half of that movie.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I really disliked it. Yeah, it's the only movie I like loved one half of and hated the other half with a purple passion. Yeah.
I believe Too Many Cooks
is movie experience, man. Like going in so happy and then walking out so pissed. Just like, God dang. Spanish David Hasselhoff. Oh, I love Antonio.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh my God. So yeah, Stranger Things. I'm looking forward to the next one. And again, I'm just gonna say I'm not a fan of like dropping a series as binge. I don't know. And I'm like Mr. ADHD. I end up watching them all and losing sleep, and I don't know. I like to sit with each episode. It feels like they're just out of my consciousness after a while. Unless it's like great, like Daredevil, but if it's like mediocre, like The Defenders, I forgot about it in a week. I mean, even as great as The Punisher was, I forgot about it in a couple of weeks. I was like, you know, and that could have lasted. I don't know. I think you would get more views. I don't know. It seems like Netflix is run by teenagers sometimes, which, you know, sometimes you get good stuff out of that. No, it's not a bad thing. Yeah. But I don't know. I like Amazon's model a little better. They kind of played it safe by splitting it in half. But I think Amazon's going to move to just releasing episodes every week, like Hulu is. Hulu's going to be a huge player if they, I was thinking about John, our co-host, who's working on the digital platform that Disney is working on. And are they going to continue with that now that they own Hulu? Like, will they need to do their own thing since they have Hulu now, since they own the controlling interest? Or do you think they'll do their own thing anyway because they don't own Hulu outright?
That was my speculation. Remember when we were talking about all this, is that, you know, now they have controlling interest of Hulu, and John says, you know, that Disney does play well with others. So why not just move, instead of focusing on this platform they'd have to build from scratch, just dump it over on Hulu. But I think he says they're going to keep, their own platform, so they can bring all their movies over and their TV shows and everything like that, and just have a Disney-centric location, which makes sense.
or maybe 2 streaming services. I wouldn't put that past Disney because they're going to keep the Fox label. That's not going anywhere. You can't get rid of the Fox fanfare. It's great. Crazy guy, binging shows takes away from the discussion too quickly. And I admittedly, it's purely for selfish reasons why I'm against binging. It's a hype killer. I like the new Amazon thing which is dropping half a season now and later. I agree. I think that worked really well with The Tick. Because I think, for example, I think the views on The Tick for the second half are going to be much higher because I don't think a lot of people knew about The Tick. The marketing at Comic-Con was genius. It was great.
Yeah.
It was everywhere. And The Tick is immensely popular. I don't know anybody have you ever met a person who goes, I hate The Tick?
No, I've never met anybody who's seen it and said, it's not for me.
Yeah. It's for, comic book fans, but I think it's for every level of comic book fan. That's why it's in, and this one was done so well. It's the one thing that's been adapted great every time. They should learn from that. And Ben Edlund needs to get more work because he is a nice person and B, really talented. I think in a lot of ways, like he works very well with Joss Whedon, but it's because they're alike. I would love to see Ben in total control. I think The Tick is total control, right? I mean, he runs it.
He has control over it. Yes.
Yeah, and that's why it's so good. And I think he should get more work. I would love to see him take on more properties. Jody says, go on.
I was just gonna say, and we also call him the fixer because he brings in. They usually bring him in to fix shows that are doing really poorly.
And he does a great job. Supernatural,
awesome job. Yeah.
Angel.
Lost. I believe they brought him in on Lost.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact. So. Yeah.
Well, dude, Gotham.
Yeah.
But what he did with Angel came in on that last season, and it's the best season. So, I'm mixed about that because when the show is good, I really, really want to see the rest of it ASAP. So in that sense, I like the binge watch, but I concede to your points. Yeah, like Dennis just said, Jean-Claude Van Johnson, he wants to see the rest of it right now. And we've all gone through that. Brandon says, I'm digging the more curated platforms these days, like Midnight Pulp, for example. Ooh, what's Midnight Pulp? Educate me on that. Do you know what Midnight Pulp is?
I think he's mean kind of like a genre, like
like genre. Okay, gotcha. Sorry, I'm old. Sorry. It is, and I love having choices now. And I cut the cord. Right, it was really a dumb time right before we started recapping television. I cut the cord, but now I pay for stuff individually. I find creative ways to see stuff live. But I end up paying for everything and I'm still saving $50-$60 a month. It's a little work. You got to take a little work and decide what you're going to want to watch in advance and decide how much you're going to pay for it. I'll jump on and off streaming services all the time. CBS All Access, I paid for it for Star Trek Discovery. Then I got out and I'll get back in when we cover it again.
I take that back. Midnight Pulp is a streaming service for all things strange.
Oh, well, dude, I need to see that. That will be, thank you for, I had no idea what it is, but I will find out tonight. If it's strange, I'm in. Okay, streaming service. Streaming service, there we go. So, what else were we going to talk about, Dennis?
We're talking about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. real quick.
Season 5.
I'll give like a 2-minute Jumanji review because I saw it with my family. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Okay, so we saw Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. You have a little difference of opinion than I do. I have only seen 4 episodes. You have seen all 6?
5.
You've seen 5. Okay, it's 5. The first 2 episodes, really good. Really, really good. Good effects. It downsized. It kind of made it a little leaner. It was a drastic shift from what they had done previous season. They even made fun of it a little bit. The humor was back in it. It almost seems like Joss Whedon's a little bit involved. I know he's not, but it seems like it.
Yeah.
The next 2 episodes, so they're on this ship, and spoilers. Yeah, they're on a ship, and I was like, damn, they got no budget. They're going to be on a sound stage. They're going to be in the ship the entire damn season, and it shot like a soap. And that's what the next two episodes were for. So I was like, as fast as I was in, I was out. I was like, I don't know. But you tell me the 5th episode is awesome.
Yeah, the 5th episode focuses on Fitz because Fitz was the only one that isn't part of the group right now. He's been separated from the rest of the group. And let me tell you, man, Fitz is a badass. And it shows in this episode. I enjoyed it immensely, and it was one of the things I was kind of on the cusp there, going, yeah, they're just going to go back to their ways of, just kind of dragging things out and not going anywhere with the story, and then ramping it up at the very last minute. But no, actually, with the Fitz episode, I was like, wow, okay, they actually explained a lot of things, they answered a lot of questions, and they moved on with the story. That's a first, right in the middle of the season.
Yeah, and the positives, the Kree villain, I forgot his name. Mm-hmm. He's really good, and he's got Julie from the Expanse is his holding the 2 balls.
Yeah,
I see the symbolism there, by the way.
Yeah,
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. She's got 2 spinning balls in her hand all the time. We got you.
And she pulls it out of her purse too. If you
and
notice.
She did. It's like, oh, I recognize that. No.
Gary's married, so he does recognize.
Yay. It's all right. Yeah, no, she's awesome. They need to let her act more because she's actually a very good actress. She was great in The Expanse. And I'm forgetting everybody's name. So Star-Lord, the Star-Lord ripoff. Well, what's his name?
Oh, you mean the guy who's helping them out? I just blanked out on his name as well.
Yeah, he's good. He was a good addition. So I'll definitely watch the 5th episode and see Marvel Agents of Tease is what I call it, and
yeah,
I'm sure other people do too. Has always been like I've been in and out of that show because like there's parts of it are great. I love I even like the Ghost Driver stuff, but it just it gets just meandering. They need to fill it with superheroes, and they have Daisy, but they need to have Daisy teaming up a little more. I don't know. Daisy almost seems played out as a character, except for when they finally made her the breaker of worlds. I thought that was interesting. That's cool. But they are setting up the Infinity War because for one, the whole 616 reference and the multiverse
reference. Yes. Deke is the guy's name.
Deke. Okay, thank you.
Sorry, I was looking at that.
Yes, I mean Deke. Sorry, I'm so bad with names. That's why I have my little notepad usually. The 80s. Long story. Yeah. So I think setting up Infinity War is what I was expecting. So I need to, temper my expectations sometimes. But if they set it up, that's what this show is for. I thought they really the whole Winter Soldier, the season before Winter Soldier was great. That whole part, and then them even mopping up after Thor: Dark World. That was the kind of stuff I was expecting all the time from this show, and they just went away from it.
Yeah,
because of the Perlmutter stuff. It wasn't even the show's fault. But
and the bad guy's name is Cassius, by the way, too. The Kree.
Yeah, I still call her Daisy from season 1, right? Chloe Bennett.
Oh, I mean the guy. The guy. His name is Cassius.
Cassius. Yes. I like the Kree. I think it's cool. I want to see more Kree, but I want to see the Kree as a more, I know they're kind of assholes. Well, they're really played off as assholes in the cinematic universe and the TV and the comic book. They're it's a little deeper than that. I mean, they're still like this wannabe master race, but there's still good and bad like there is in anything. So I hope we see that a little more. But maybe not. Maybe they just need a straight up villain, which is fine. Now, we have a short season, so that's why I was like a little. I was like, man, we cannot be dragging stuff out. They only have like 10 episodes.
Yeah, I think 8 or 10. I can't remember which one it is.
And that was because Disney forced it on ABC. But we might get something good out of it. So I'll definitely watch the 5th episode, and I'll give it a shot. I don't mean to be too harsh on it. It's been a weird show. It's gone through a lot of stuff. Disney always paints this picture of Red Letter Media did a video on that movie we're not talking about, which is Brilliant. I
Is
highly.
that the one directed by Rianne Johnson?
Yes. It's the Half in the Bag podcast, and they really talk about the Disney sheen that they put on everything, on all their behind the scenes stuff. They make them look like political ads, and I thought that was a great analogy on how they like, oh, look, we all got along and everything was great and it was all smooth. And, love it or hate it, the behind the scenes on the prequels for the movie that we will not name, that's in the title of this podcast, showed the warts and all. Like, I remember when they did that first screening of the Phantom Menace and everybody walked out like, that was classic. If you building empires or whatever the hell it was called, that was it was a great documentary, better than the movie. Rianne.
Sorry, I'm not pronouncing it the other way because it's Rihanna, right? So it's not Rihanna. It's Rihanna.
Well, his name was Ryan, and he changed it when he became a director.
I know. That's why I'm calling him Rianne. And by the way, Cyborg Man, we did talk about Bright the very beginning of this podcast. So when it goes to video, you can take a look and see what we said about it. We liked it. At least I liked it. Gary's only watched.
I like it so far. So far. Sorry, we're gonna have to cut this one short. We're gonna be ending it in about 10 minutes or so because I got to go somewhere. Usually we like to meander on for a couple hours with these things, but we will be doing another one very soon. So quickly, Jumanji, the movie that did 30 million this weekend. I went and saw it with my wife and my kid and my youngest, and I freaking liked it. I hate to say it, but and honestly, I haven't seen the original. I didn't see the Robin Williams one.
Wow.
I know. I cannot think of an excuse why I did not see that movie. It came out in 95. I was working at the warehouse in the video department. I remember renting it to people. I remember it flying. Like, we couldn't keep it in stock. So many people liked it. And I love Robin Williams, and I never watched that damn movie. And I don't know why. It looked like a giant turd to me. But I ended up laughing way more than I care to admit. And my kid was chuckling through the whole damn thing. And it's just a simple little story about friendship. That's all it is. It's nothing deep. I don't know if you want to pay, like, what did I pay today for the matinee here in San Francisco? I saw it in Daly City. I paid $45.
Wow.
This is ridiculous. Oh my God. But we had a good time. We snuck in some popcorn and it was definitely worth your time on cable if you come across it for free. And if you want to see a fun little story about friendship, it's nice. But it is pretty damn funny. I'll give you that. And it's not like more physical comedy. It's not like fart humor, which is good. And Jack Black is like funny again in this one, which I was not expecting. But Jack Black playing a 17-year-old girl is pretty good. It didn't play out. It was there's a great scene in that movie where I was laughing my ass off. I will freely admit it, and I won't ruin it. $45. Well, it was three of us. I had to pay for my wife and my son, but that was matinee prices. So it was like $12 each, $12.50 each, plus a surcharge from Fandango. And thankfully, where we go, we park for free. But there's not many places you park for free up here in the Bay Area. If I go see a movie downtown, if I just go by myself, it's $30.
Yeah.
It's $30, and that's during the day. So yeah, that might be hurting movies a little bit. Maybe. I don't know.
Sean asks here, hey guys, do you watch Gotham? I watch Gotham. Gary doesn't. Neither does John. I watch it because it's batshit crazy, and it's fun, honestly. It's just they don't care about the mythology anymore, which I'm okay with. It's its own little story as far as I'm concerned. So it makes me laugh. And Jody, it's not $45 per ticket. It was $45 in total that he paid for for three people.
Now, if you go see Star Wars in the Barca Lounger and the XD and everything, it's $27 per ticket.
Oh, jeez.
Per ticket, $27. But that's the assigned seating and all the, and like I said, the chair that leans back, but that's still stupid. That's ridiculous. Yeah, Gotham, don't hate it at all. Actually, it's one of those things. I only have so much time in the day, so I'll probably catch up on it at some point. Dennis and I did talk about covering it at some point, but it was on a day with too many other shows or something like that. I can't even remember why we didn't. But
I
I
just
mean,
think you it was something like you had to work the next day, and yeah, it just didn't. It was on Thursday. That's what it was.
yeah, and maybe we will, because I made the mistake of not that it was fully my decision. I'm like, I don't want to cover the Orville. I just like, it's a good show, but I don't know like what we're gonna talk about. There's just a couple jokes, and it's not like some when you recap a show, we don't want to just tell you what happened, because for one, we assume you watched it. We want to just give our take on it and maybe have a conversation about it. I wasn't sure if there was enough meat there to have a conversation, and I couldn't have been more wrong. Orville is deeper than Star Trek Discovery on a lot of levels. And it's not entirely funny. It's like, it's got funny moments, but I wouldn't call it funny. I would just call it like sci-fi, and it's not like remarkable, but there's something like fun about it that I love. So we will be covering it in full. And if I catch up on Gotham, I'm like a season behind. I would be more than happy to cover it, because I do like it. I do.
And Jody, you're right. I just blank on there. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did get a 22 episode count, not an 8 or 10 episode. So they just upped it to 22. Yes.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I heard it was like a small count. Then I heard wrong. That is, well, then it's moving way faster than usual. So that's pleasing, actually. Yeah. So that's cool. And hopefully this will lead right into the Infinity War. That would be awesome. I know Coulson's not going to be in it, though. Not he might be in the fourth one. I don't think he's going to be in the third one. I'd like to see him back.
Ghost World says, "What the fuck? Since when did you guys go live so early? Damn it, I missed the show." Yeah, Ghost World, sorry. This was kind of a surprise. And we're actually going to be leaving here in about 3 minutes, because Gary needs to go and make tamales up in Marin.
Up in Marin, yes. It's a tamale emergency. I need to eat some because I'm hungry. Yeah, we're gonna go hang with some friends. I don't podcast all the time, although I'd really like to. It's fun. But I got this family, and I got to hang out with them. They're so needy.
Charles Ruttheimer asks, "How is Karen's American accent in Jumanji?"
It is excellent, actually. She was one of the best things in it. Yes, I'm a huge Karen Gillan fan. Doctor Who, Amy Pond. Somehow she looks younger in it, which possibly a vampire. I don't know. She looks really good in it. Okay. Won't deny that at all. And The Rock, who I can find is equally funny and annoying, is really funny. But Karen, her American accent is almost flawless, which it didn't used to be. So she's done some work. But yeah, really, really funny movie. It was better than the other one that came out. I'll tell you that. Oh, Shape of Water. We saw this old couple come out, and they were raving about it. And they were like in their 70s, late 70s. They're like, "That was the best movie." And I'm like, okay. So yeah, I'll probably see Shape of Water. The Abe Sapien story.
That was the best movie I've ever seen.
Love it. Boston. That Abe Sapien movie was excellent. Oh, man.
Well, we should probably let you get going here.
Yep.
Since we are out of time.
I am sorry it's such a short one, but we'll be back. John and I are going to be back tomorrow doing Doctor Who and Runaways. And then Dennis and I will do another live stream soon.
I think we have. Do we have Wednesday?
We have Happy on Wednesday.
We do. Yes.
And then we have our Friday night live on Friday. We'll probably do something in between there, though, just for fun. So we'll keep an eye on the Twitter at Nerdrotics, or if you are subscribed and you got the notification, I try to put it up like 30 minutes beforehand. Sometimes before we start, we'll let you know. But yeah, what time tomorrow for Doctor Who? It is going to be, I forgot. Let me go to my schedule here. Boom, 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 boom. For Doctor Who, it's going to be 8:00 Pacific Standard Time. And for Runaways, it's super late. It's 10:15 Pacific Standard Time. Now, Doctor Who could be moved up an hour depending on when we see it. But we're shooting for 8 p.m. Pacific time. So That will be Doctor Who. I will have plenty to say about Doctor Who. Oh yes. So yeah.
Jody, yes, they are covering it Christmas Day.
Yep.
And he said, speaking of, do you think the Hellboy reboot will be good? Everything looks good so far, so no reason to
Except for one comment I heard.
really.
Did you not see what I posted on our Twitter thing?
I might have.
David Harbour said they're going to explore Hellboy's toxic masculinity.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Can we just see a story? I don't want to explore anything. Oh my God, they even got something in on Jumanji. Like they were talking about exceptionalism. I heard the word exceptionalism and just went, can I see a story, please? My God, I agree with some of these politics and they are annoying as hell. So yeah, there you go. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays from the Nerdrotic channel.
And
Dennis,
happy Christmas Kwanzaa to everyone.
Yeah, that thing. And all praise the spaghetti monster.
Yep.
Okay. Dennis, take us out, man.
Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. The world.
May the small folks sing songs of your greatness. Christmas carols even. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas, everyone.